Good afternoon, guys. Daniel here from Single Malt Jack. Okay, I'm here with my good mate Hardis, and we have got in front of us a Glenfiddich shootout today. Okay, we're here at Saraba Spring Gully Stays Campground. It's absolute epic spot. We've got the Glenfiddich 12 and we've got the Glenfiddich 15. Now, my question to you is: number one, can you tell the difference between the two? And number two, is the price of the Glenfiddich 15 worth the extra money? So kick back, guys. If you haven't subscribed, like our videos, look at all the rest of them if you haven't seen them, and we're going to tell you exactly what we think about these Glenfiddich whiskies.
Send us a message as well. Maybe we could get a nice guest, a special guest, join us on one of our trips. You never know.
I'd love to.
Well,
I'd
yeah.
absolutely love to. What I've done here, everyone out there and Hardis, okay, is I've poured the Glenfiddich 12 and the Glenfiddich 15, okay, before you've come to...
Both. Okay.
Now, I thought, personally, that the Glenfiddich 15 is going to have a bit more colour to it, so you'd be able to pick it straight away.
You can't.
Doesn't.
No.
They look completely the same, okay? Now, these whiskies, so for an every... I'm not going to say every day, because I don't drink every day, although you might think I do, but for an every week, like weekend type sipping whiskey, you can't go past the Glenfiddich 12. You know, for $60 to $65, especially when it's on sale, less than $60, that is just an amazing Speyside whiskey, single malt whiskey. For the extra money, you can pick up the Glenfiddich 15. The next step up is the 18, and then you can go the 21, and they've got all these different Winter Storm and different variants, okay? But I'm letting you know now, I really, really like the Glenfiddich 15. I've been wanting to do a video on this for quite some time, okay? I think it's worth the extra money, okay? I want you to, I guess, taste test both of them, see if you can tell the difference, and see whether you would pay the extra money for the two whiskies. So this one here is, as I said, around $60 to $65. This one here, I picked it up on special for $100, okay? But it's usually priced at almost $120, $115, somewhere around that price. Okay,
two for one range, really.
So it's almost double for only an extra 3 years in the barrel. Okay, but okay, extra 3 years. But this here is so 15 years, and they do different barrels along the way. So it's ex-bourbon casks, new oak, sherry casks, before harmonizing in our unique Solera vat. Okay. Solera, which is like I think it's like a Spanish type sherry cask type thing, okay? So this is also bottled at 40%. Be really nice if they did a higher ABV, okay? So they're both the same percentage. I don't want to talk much more because we need to sample some whiskey.
We need a sample. Yeah, agreed.
So let's start with the one closest to you, either side.
Either side, okay.
Let us know what you think of that one. Because you know, they're both fantastic whiskies, and what I will say, guys, is if you're thinking about, like, if you've got $60 or so to spend on a bottle of whiskey for a present for someone, you can't go past the Glenfiddich 12 for that sort of money. There's nothing out there better than that for that money. Yep. I will go on record saying that. Okay. If you guys think differently, put it in the comments, but I don't think you do.
Yep.
Now, I know you're not a whiskey drinker, but it's a very easy drinking, smooth. There's not a lot, it's not very complex, easy to digest. You know, it's very like buttery, vanilla-y. There's like some pears, you know, orchard type fruits in there. It's very easy drinking every week whiskey. You know, you might, for someone like you might have to put like a little bit of ice in there or something, to, you know, cool it down or make it a bit easier to drink.
That's one thing I was about to say is my first whiskey tasting. One thing they did mention to us at the start is you don't actually smell whiskey through your nose but through your mouth. because your nose picks up most of the alcohol percentage,
Yeah.
where your mouth actually picks up more of the flavours. So
And you've got to drink it out of these Glencairn glasses because the flavours and the nose and the smell just goes straight up into your nostrils.
first thing I find is that from your first sort of your first smell, you don't get it's smooth. It is smooth.
So I know you've only tried one.
Yep.
What do you think of it, and which one do you think it is? Or do you want to try the second one before
We'll
you
have
make
to
the call?
try the second
You
one.
got to try
before I make
both?
the call. Yeah.
Okay, let's try both.
I do like it though, so we'll
Okay, yeah, I do as well. I like both of them.
yeah. We'll start it off well.
Wow.
Okay.
It's hard to tell the difference, isn't it?
It is quite hard.
You know what?
I think the sip I took there was a bit bigger than the first one, so we'll.
It's funny because, truthfully, whenever I've tried the Glenfiddich 12, I've really liked it. Whenever I've tried the Glenfiddich 15, I've really liked it.
Yep.
Okay. I've never tried both of them side by side.
Side by side, yeah. Okay.
Now that I'm trying them side by side, I'm struggling, to be honest with you, with my palate to tell the difference between the two. So I think we just need to go back and forth a little bit and give it a bit of time to open up.
I see what you mean, yeah.
They're very, very similar.
Very similar,
You know,
yeah.
this is also, okay, very balanced, Speyside, same distillery, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 12 years, Oloroso sherry. Okay, so sherry, ex-bourbon cask before mellowing in oak, marrying tons. So, you know, the only difference, I guess, between the two, so they've both got ex-bourbon, they've both got ex-sherry. The Glenfiddich 15 is harmonised in a Solera vat, where the other one is just, I would assume, just like a normal oak tun. Okay. Now, to be honest with you, if I didn't know which whiskey was which, I would not be able to pick the two. I'm being completely honest with you guys. This has got me stunned. Because I've as I said, I've tried both separately, and when I've tried the 15, I thought, oh, this is really good. And then I try the 12, and I'm like, this is really good too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm like, I just want to put both side by side just to see what the difference is and see whether it is worth twice the money. Okay, without knowing which is which, would you pay twice as much for one than the other?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
I don't think you would you?
No.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you were to try one but you didn't try the other, you'd say this. Well, they're both great whiskies.
They're both great whiskies.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
So let's start. Okay, before you reveal which is which.
Yep.
Let's reveal to everyone which whiskey you think is the better of the two whiskeys for your palate,
For my
for your
palate,
individual palate.
I'm going to go the outside. So the first one we try.
Wow. Wow.
So maybe, you know.
Wow. Would you pay any extra for that over that? Or would you
Buy any extra if you're saying
double?
not double.
Nah.
No, not double.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a rule of thumb when it comes to whiskies, but I'll reveal it whenever you're ready.
No. So what you're saying is these two are the same and these two are the same.
Yep.
So you're saying you
Go to the
enjoy this
outside.
whiskey more.
Yep.
And this is your lesser favourite of the two.
Correct.
Do you find this one a little bit
I
harsher
wouldn't say lesser favourite.
or less
yes,
flavour?
a little bit harsher.
Okay.
A little bit
Interesting.
harsher.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yep.
Should we do the reveal?
Well, if you like, but I'll say from my perspective, I find that this one sits a little bit smoother for me.
Yep.
I get a bit higher of an alcohol taste, a bit of a higher burning taste, where this one seems to sort of flow a little bit easier.
Yep.
A little tiny bit easier.
To be honest with you, they're both bottled at the same ABV, 40%, which is, you know, fairly common, I guess, or fairly lower end, but common for a Scotch whiskey or any whiskey. I find there's more flavour in that one, I find this easier to drink. I find this is more complex.
This is easier to drink,
I find
definitely.
this is a lot easier to drink.
Yeah.
Okay. So having said that, I'm going to reveal that this is the Glenfiddich 12
Yes.
and this is the Glenfiddich 15.
Okay.
Okay. Is that what you were expecting, or are you sort of...
Oh, like you said, I'm not the biggest whiskey person.
Yep.
But I don't know. I found that this one was a lot smoother to drink. I've got a few flavors. Like I said, I've got a few flavors from here. There was a few different flavors coming through. This one just seemed to get a bit more of an alcohol taste come through. So a bit more of a burning sensation, you might say, when it went down. Which
I definitely agree with you. This is a nice every day or every week sipping whiskey.
Yep.
I think this is as well. I find that this, I agree with you. Maybe it does have a bit more. I don't know if it's got more kick to it, but I think it's got a bit more going on, maybe, but not a lot more. You know, and the colours are actually very, very
similar.
Like, you can't pick the difference.
I'd say the outside is possibly a little bit lighter from the naked eye, but no, that's just...
Yeah, look, you're probably right. Yeah. I mean, an extra 3 years in the barrel will darken it up a little bit. And look, having said that, they are allowed to put colouring in whiskey. So, I mean, I haven't checked if these are, if they haven't added colour or what to it. Usually they do say on there. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I don't know. Interesting, guys. Interesting. I definitely agree with you. Like, I think this is a very nice sipping whiskey. I really do enjoy the Glenfiddich 15.
Yep.
Okay. Now that I've put them both side by side, I can honestly say that the Glenfiddich 15 is not worth the extra money.
Not worth. Yeah. Well, I agree.
Yeah, you agree with
that?
that?
As a non-whiskey drinker, when you do have the occasional glass, you want something that goes down fairly easy.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And they're both round about there. This one just seems to have, I don't know, well, like you said, maybe it's I might be the alcohol or the way it's been aged, but I get a bit of a less of a alcohol taste in the 12 year.
Out of the 12 year. I think it probably is a little bit easier to drink, and they always say that the Glenfiddich 12 is the perfect introductory single malt Scotch whiskey. Especially for the price. For $60,
you can't.
Every day of the week, you'd buy that.
Yeah.
And I do.
If you're going to Dan Murphy's and what do they have? All your big whiskies like your JDs and your Johnny Walkers and your introductories, your red label, black. Oh, what is it? The black label. $40 to $50.
Oh, look, for the money, you can't beat it.
You can't beat it.
You really can't beat it. And on my Scotch whiskey journey, I mean, I'm no expert, but I've tried quite a few over these last 12 months that I've been doing this channel with Single Malt Jack. And I don't know, I still, to be honest with you, completely honest with you and everyone out there, I always still keep going back to the Glenfiddich 12. I don't know, I don't want too much out of my whiskey. I don't want too much harshness. I don't want...
You want it to be smooth. You want it...
I want it to be easy drinking. Yeah. I don't need to think about it too much. I don't know. I just keep going back to that 12 every day of the week.
Like you say, if you're paying twice as much for the 15 over the 12, it's probably not worth it.
It might be marginally better.
Yeah.
But from a non-whiskey drinker, I guess you call yourself, although you do like to have a nice tipple every now and again.
I'll always have a drink, but...
You prefer the Glenfiddich 12. So I think that finalises it, guys. We've been ranting on here for so long, and apologies for that.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So apologies. If you've watched it this far, you've definitely found out that for your money's much better spent on the Glenfiddich 12.
Agreed.
Glenfiddich 15, fantastic whiskey in its own right. But for an every week sipping whiskey, can't go past the Glenfiddich 12, and we do not think that the Glenfiddich 15 is worth double the price, because it's definitely not twice as good.
And give it a go yourself at home.
Give it a go.
Give it a go, yeah.
Next video we do hardest, I'm going to get out the bottle of the Glenfiddich 18.
Yep.
We'll probably line all three up. I'll save these two bottles.
Yep. And
we'll see what we think, whether we can pick the difference between the 18.
Happy to do it.
Happy days, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, Daniel.
Cheers. Interesting, eh?